lead administratively of youth and gender. But as I have brought my team with me from sport and arts, so that we can help each other, particularly where there are questions or need for clarification. The National Youth Policy of 2010 has been reviewed. We have a draft that is undergoing approval through various structures, and we are hopeful that during the second quarter of this financial year, perhaps this policy will be approved. The policy really intends to address the emerging needs and sought to be more relevant. We have the National Policy on Gender and Development of 2015. This policy is also undergoing review this financial year. I have already spoken to the pressing needs relating to youth unemployment. We are talking about 38.4%. And this really presents a burning platform that all of us need to address. It needs a multi-sectoral approach. Obviously, our ministry needs to coordinate all these efforts to ensure that we speedily find ways of engaging and empowering our young people. We have the Youth Development Fund that also has its own issues, and this financial year we are reviewing YDF to make it more impactful and for us to realize the intended objectives. We have also developed terms of reference for Tirelo Setšhaba. Leonehela, like members may already be aware, and there are some shortcomings that we need to address. Botswana National Youth Council is focusing on youth engagement and character building, youth volunteer programs. BNYC, as currently fashioned, is not delivering as expected when one compares it with the old BNYC, which was autonomous. So it is the ministry's intention, as part of the restructuring, to also revamp BNYC so that it really advocates for young people and it provides opportunities to empower young people. Gender and development. We have the national strategy towards ending gender-based violence, also undergoing review. It's a new ministry. We are taking a fresh look at everything. We know the expectations are high, and we need to get to a good start. We are generally doing well when it comes to matters of gender, except in two areas. We are doing very badly when it comes to women representation in the political space, and we are advocating for a change of that process. Yeah, the top. We are also doing badly in terms of income inequality. Bomme ba saletse ko morago ga re compare itsholelo ya bomme le borre. So women economic empowerment becomes very key. GBV is also a big issue of concern, which needs all of us, like I said, in relation to youth unemployment. GBV is about behavioral change, and we are looking up to all our leaders, including members in this committee, to help advocate, help with changing behavior. Prevention is key, but we should also provide convenience when it comes to responding to GBV. We have the National Gender Commission chairperson, which also needs a revamp, because currently they like saying they are toothless. And we think to give them teeth, we need to come up with the gender equality law, which will outline, among others, the functions of the National Gender Commission, so that it has a mandate to hold everybody across all sectors accountable for gender equality. Gender-sensitive budgeting will also go a long way in addressing the challenges we currently face. And we were delighted during the budget speech when the Minister of Finance and Vice President made a commitment that we will, as a country, go that route. So without much, Chairperson, with that summary, having taken it as read, I wish to stop here. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honourable members, you can now engage. I'll start with Honourable Malusi.
Aloha, Chair. They fall under a committee that I chair, so how one of the posts I'm in the or Avais Bankarbe Capano, Hakirva under oath. Unteteleke, Peperetela, say. Ngasmola Halaka, this issue, Busan Health Sports Cancer, BNSC. Because they are given money by the government, subsequently they give that money to their affiliates. But we know some of the affiliates, but now number 5 years, but sorry, the AGM. How do we make sure that they account for it? Because Kanahosna AGM rather than financial statements, and I give you Melore, Hotabole Maleba or Mahalunga Batumadi. Research or Anga Hoitil and bad research. So when we put a who really audits these affiliates? So never BFA, Bukarati, Jalo Jarval or Vanilla, Lahali Manyan, me Vanilla Madia Push. So how do you make sure bar counted?
Yeah, you may respond. I can you, sir.
Thank you, Chairperson. I would like to ask that my colleagues from the Ministry of Sport and Arts can also take an oath so that they can deal with relevant issues. Director Sport and Deputy PS Art.
Okay, and I'm on my side. So that's what it is. Ma?
I can talk to these issues, but maybe I should also have said the period under review. And I have more confidence in them who have been there. But the little that I know is that BNSC, before they give out money, they need to satisfy themselves that there is accountability in terms of the money that was previously issued to sport associations. And BNSC, like other parastatals, get audited annually. So, unless what they see, then that would be my response.
Okay. I guess we want to get the benefit of those who you say are now doing the work. What is the PS for sports?
No, what way is the PS for sport?
Hey,
The PS for sport has been traveling. I think she arrived over the weekend. I invited her, and she said my colleagues will help because learning also agriculture. You should say she's still getting a hang of them.
It would have been desirable to have her here.
Yaanong kgang e nngwe e ena nga mpotsa ke gore a mme mang ka tlagela ke sa invitiwa. Why is the committee not? Ha nkare ke tsena ko e be go te wena o etetse mang ke tla reng.
The circular we sent was that the minister changing. The one who has most of the thing at the ministry can atlang. But that's the instruction that was sent. That's why you came here for sport and we're expecting what was spotted and what over that over to.
The colleagues are here, Chairperson.
Okay, we would allow the director of sports. Please take. Not deputy PS. Go art. Director. Ba ikane botlhe ka gore gantse go na le art dintsi tsone tsa art di batla di arajwe o dirisa Bible go tsa affirmation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. O tansala morago.
I, Moretsi Bohosi,
Swear by Almighty God
swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this committee of parliament
before this committee of parliament
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
nothing else but the truth.
nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ke a leboga. Ora re kana mo ntse gone go ke ra o kana mo setila a ikane so that le tana le se changeana setilo se. Deputy PS, are we can with the Bible go tsa o
Bible.
Bible. Lebogo phezulu.
I, Tebogo Matebesi,
Swear by Almighty God
swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this committee of parliament
before this committee of parliament
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing else but the truth.
and nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. Ono hantse go boditswe le ya sports, director sports.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable had asked, how do we make sure that BNSC accounts for the grant that they are given? Hela lantla, the grant is given in quarters. Every quarter, the BNSC requests for a subvention. And before any subvention can be granted or given to BNSC, they have to account for the subvention from the previous quarter. So that is the first way that we ensure that they account. May at the end of the year, as the accounting officer has indicated, they are audited by external auditors and they produce annual reports as per the BNSC Act. Thank you.
Putso ya me thata ke gore a ke re gora ra ile gore ba submita ko lona ba re no re tere madi ra netse softball a ke re ya no re batla go itse gore ko softballong kwa how do they make sure now that that money was used for what they were supposed to be used for? Because affiliates anyway, I think it's common knowledge that some affiliates they gone on about 5 years these are the annual general meetings and then these are financial, but every year they get money. So how do you now stop that gap? My dear government, can my dear Batwan, the association, can the affiliates in or had the account or the address young, if you have about follow the constitution, e leng gore e tshwanetse gore e tama gore ba dire di-AGM.
Is it true or the AGM? But you give them money.
According to the BNSC Act and the conditions of affiliation of these national sporting associations, it would be against policy gore ba hiwe madi ba sa follow their own constitutions, because their own constitutions requires them to have AGMs.
Gongwe ka gore gongwe information e o ka tsoga sa e tshwara gongwe re e kope gore ba itsise ya gore affiliate tsotlhe hela tse e leng gore re neela madi even if you take 2 weeks or a month gore e tshwere in the past 5 years ba tshwere di-AGM leng jang ebile madi a ba anetsweng ke bokae. I believe it's just a table that you can produce ya gore Botswana Motorsports Botswana ya softball ya BFA AGM ya bone ya 2023 ne le leng ebile ne e tshwaretse kae ebile ne re ba netse bokae. I believe that information can come later because you might not have it at your fingertips. Is that okay?
I'll go on about the information you and deposit it with our secretariat.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gongwe putso e nngwe o ise o emelele ho ke sa itse gore go information a teo ka tsona le one maloba ne re bone go tshwere di-game mme nako ne di tshwarwa stadium ne se ready until the last minute ebile go na le dikgang tsa gore se ne sa applyiwa the track is until metsi and then the contractor refused to give a guarantee because he was forced gore a dire so that you can meet the deadline ya game. So gompieno ana se senyega by the 100-meter mark se pompunye tsona se apara se senyega. So potso e ka tswa e ka e botsang ke gore who gave the guarantee le gore ha ile gore se senyegile yana will the contractor under the defect liability period be able to fix this for free kana ka gore le mofose gore a se heleletse santse se le metsi o tlo gana go se dira yeah le gore a mme le bona se tabo se le mo seemo se le gore se ka tsa sa dirisiwa mo di gaming tse di tantsa tsa World Athletics.
Director.
Thank you, Chair. Our understanding ke gore the contractor o na le contract le Botswana National Sport Commission. The contract which is standard in line with procurement processes. Gore ha ka ha go na le construction as it was construction. If there are any changes, they have to be managed ka tsela e ntseng jang. Le gore jaaka honorable Labua, the issues of defect liabilities are part of what the contract would entail. Mehela ga kena kitso ya gore go dirilwe sepehela se le gore se ka tswa se le kgatlhanong le kontraka e leng teng between the commission and the contractor.
Kanya gore track e senyegile yana, are you aware of it?
No, sir, I'm not aware.
Isiame.
I wasn't aware gore gona le bothata, sir.
When was the last time you visited?
The last time I visited was at the end of April.
It was okay?
It was okay, sir.
Thank you.
But gongwe ke go itsise ela gore according to the information that I have, that track was not done according to the World Athletics facilities manual. There were only 2 layers that were put. There was supposed to be 3 layers. Ke kopa gore o go batla information ka kganye o bone gore me because we don't want to go through the same expenditure. Ha go tla re tsentse re tshware mabelo a mangwe. Ngwe ke tlogele ho ebe ke botsa engwe ya youth unemployment. I think this is a big issue in this country and I think in the region. But intervention ke elentse le dira ya bo YDF gongwe ke botsa gore do you think is working? Le gone gore kana globally everybody knows gore kana the statistics they are gore 90% of startup businesses fail within the first year. 90% of startup business globally is a fact. Everybody business how the startup delay 100 90 at India who collapse. FAP very few survived. See a lot of defaults because they give a lot of money to startups. Are you aware of these statistics? YDF. Are you aware of these statistics? And do you think is it prudent startup are you not? Why are you not coming up with other avenues because startup statistically is bound to fail.
County officer.
Thank you, Chairperson. We are aware that not everyone is an entrepreneur. So, given the big number of young people who are not in employment, who are not in education, of more than 400,000, we know that YDF on its own really is just a tiny drop in terms of the efforts that can address unemployment. We are not only looking at YDF as the only means to create jobs. As I said, job creation should worry all of us. Currently, as the Ministry of Youth and Gender Affairs, our minister is holding conversations with other ministries for them to look at their sectors and identify jobs for youth. We have already met with sport and arts. We've met with agriculture, at the lands and agriculture. We've met with trade and entrepreneurship and others. And there is a schedule to meet other ministries because we are not only going to the ministry, we're also going to the parastatals and private sector as a whole. We've already drafted an MOU with BEMA, Manufacturing and Exporters Association, because they are also very keen in terms of creating jobs for young people through luring investors. So they already have some investors, some pipeline projects, and we are linking up. So those are some of the efforts that we should actively be advocating for jobs, not only as MySec, but as the whole economy. Right now at Office of the President, there is an initiative falling directly under the Office of the President, intending to empower youth. And job creation is at the top of the agenda. So when we have an office like that, which seeks to galvanize all of us and complement the efforts of youth, we think there will be light at the end of the tunnel, and we don't want people seeing it as problem ya government. All of us, re na le banana le kwa lapeng, ra hutsahala, re tlhoka go dira something different. So IDF, which we know is not even achieving the intended results due to a whole array of problems. We have developed terms of reference. We have started coming together with key stakeholders, academia and others. Who did already report the I mean, monitoring and evaluation has been terrible. People have been applying for YDF, personal highly entrepreneurial skills. We have to change that. We need more and more training, more and more mentoring. Project. It's a multi-long consultant, 2,000, 3,000, I will have business plan, you get the money. It works for the grace period, then we don't know what happens after that. We have documented all these issues, and we need to come up with a good scheme that will have
Are you working on that? Are you working on a new scheme?
Yes, we're working on a new scheme, and by the end of this year, we'll have a YDF with a different complexion.
Okay, hello for
Thank you very much.
Kana, your clients are also clients that are Ministry of Basic Education, the Ministry of Higher Education. So, what is the relationship between your ministry and those two ministries? Because ultimately, their failure rate, failure in their mandate. Because then you get all of these kids who are failing from 3, while they're out of school and out of employment. And so, what are you doing to try and talk to them so that Linelean understand the client is really the cooperating the two who are young from the education side? Because if you look at our TVET, for example, Banaba fees and from 3, they don't get opportunities to go the brigade. This only brigade had admitted enough students. Because like right now, we're going NCQF, but very this course is useless. We are wasting kids' time. So Lona, as a ministry that is responsible for these young people, what are you doing to try and influence the policies that the ministry in Soneteo? Say that the Naba Hono the opportunity to move so long. Horbaskabata ba no ba failure na most thing. Even na problem ya lona millions de resources. For example, za gore le ka ba thusa gore ba ka bona botshelo jo bo toka go kope.
Through Chairperson, thanks again, Honorable Moalusi. And this is how I started, by saying our minister is leading this through conversations with all ministries. We are not only restricting ourselves to Ministry X and Y, because we are seeing all this as a value chain. And every year, we do get lots of young people unable to progress to Form 4. We have lots of young people unable to progress beyond Form 5. And we are saying, what is it that can be done to take care of all these? I remember when we met with BNYC, some young person stood up and said, why do you feel like elitists only? I'm yet to see a Form 3 young person gaining access to IDF. And it's one of those things that really makes it important for us to segment our market. In other words, provide for all the young people because their needs vary. So I can confirm that we are meeting with ministries, all of them, not only higher education or basic education, or by energy, mining, labor in. We are looking for jobs and we are looking for upskilling young people. Recently, we had a conversation with UNICEF. You know, they do their annual plans. And we said, we want something different. We want something different because the present problems that we have, we no longer want schemes that benefit 200 young people. We have more than 450,000 young people who are in hopelessness. So these conversations are ongoing, and we are saying, but what use can we make of idle facilities? For example, during school break, you know the number of institutions we have. We can use those to upskill young people in areas that they are passionate about. So as I said, we believe we will together.
So currently, these are just aspirations and beliefs. There's nothing concrete on the ground or a platform. Every quarter we meet with these people while produce as experts in these fields. Because if the two institutions are disjointed, they will do what they do, and they don't care what happens after. So, is there a platform apart from the conversations we have conversations every day. Len, I've had conversations with the minister. I've had conversations with other people, but conversation is just a conversation.
Thank you, Honorable. Following those conversations, plans are put in place, joint teams work together, and there are timelines.
So are there plans right now? For
the ministries that we have already engaged, plans are being drawn up.
I'm interested in this ones.
Ministry of Basic Education, Child Welfare and Basic Education, for example, we are meeting them this week to just deal with that. Then higher education, we are meeting them this week because like TVET, which we see having great potential to assist us in upskilling young people. So, as we say, we are at discussion and planning stage, but the intention is to execute, not just talk because, hey, Semo has a little talk was a heli.
Okay, hello, Honorable.
Oh, hello.
A very short question. What's the criteria that you use to hire the DPS? Do you advertise? Because apparently there are 2 DPSs, but not really. Maybe whenever but Baba Conta is about an advert, Baba Helakotino, Smama Hirile, are they headhunted or do you advertise? Halabata Hira, the Deputy Permanent Secretaries.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Member. In the public service, accounting officers have been delegated authority to employ up to D1. That's chief level. Executive, the appointments are done by Permanent Secretary to the President, working with DPSM. We do advertise positions for E, like director positions. Once we have done assessments, we just submit everything with a recommendation to the competent authority to make decisions. So, Sabo Deputy PS, advertise because ki prerogative ya office tona. Sometimes batlatsi sa DPS through transfers. Sometimes I think headhunting is done.
Okay, you want, as an accounting officer, you want to surround yourself with the best talent. And I think it is an anomaly. And then when you fail, because you're going to fail if they bring somebody who are competent. So when do you think it's, just your personal opinion, do you think it's fair to you as an accounting officer or your critical team, the deputy PS, political appointees, for example, does it not affect your organization, the way they will work? Because how deputy PS or sports political appointee, for example. Do you think that is do you think that's a good idea? Do you think we're not going to as an accounting officer?
Accounting officer?
Thank you, Chairperson. Hakisi, if my personal opinions should matter, this is a system, public service. So one should be able to say, the competent authority. Honale tsela e leng gore ba isetse morago go tla ko conclusioning ya gore nyame motho o siametse go a ko sport kana o siametse go a ko gender. So we work in good faith. We do the best that we can, because how perfect there has to be mentoring, there has to be upskilling, there has to be mentoring, hand-holding in the workplace. So ha motho a tsisiwa go te motho yo o tlile go thusa o simola go bereka le ena o bona gore mme o ka nthusa go le kae ha tlhaelang teng. It's my responsibility to identify those gaps and see how I close them gore re kgone go bereka as an effective team.
So, but what does that do to the team spirit? About ba expect that positioning and then they just see somebody come.
That surely is the last one.
Thank you, Chairperson. I want to believe that this committee will be engaging with the Permanent Secretary to the President, and some of these, I think, should be best placed to deal with them. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Tauzani.
Thank you, Muglastil. The report me ke tlo go tla dipotso le pedi hela ne ke singa some development projects ha ke bona e ke tse ke di batla me. The questions are here, PS. YDF, the collection rate of Baba Konneng go neelwa madi. It's a majang. Are you satisfied ka le collectang ka tinyela? In this year of 21-22. Hela generally mo gompieno jana gore the collection rate ya lona mo batho ba ba kgonneng go bona YDF e ntse ja.
PS collection rate.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think Honorable Motausan had said he had 2 questions. I thought already.
Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, that is the question. No, I'll do some follow-ups. Potso engwe ke gore ha le na le di projects tse bileng di direlwa gongwe ke maphata a mangwe. Let me give you an example. Ha moragonyana ha le lekile la neela di cancel madi gore ba le thuse go execute some projects like you I remember well ne le ntsha madi ya kana ka 200,000 go aga bo there was some project they need to go to the toilets go to stadium, and that project even up to now it's not complete. How do you fit in? Hobanore madialo antite a dirisiwa sentle go ya ka hane le ditekati ki kaya mahaketana maki kita we held on in my follow-up. It is going to be need anyway.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Matausane. We are not happy with the collection rate regarding YDF, and the collection is generally very low, around 5% or so. We'll appreciate that YDF is part grant and part interest-free loan. You get 100,000, 50,000 is a grant, 50,000 is a zero interest loan. Matata mantsi a gore ke banana ba sa duele. Earlier on ke buile ka yone lack of just go supporta monana o mona mo tlhola o bona gore dikgwetlho ke dihe o ka mo thusa ka tsela e ntseng yang. Se sengwe se se botlhoko ke gore we expect monana go emelela a go fola ko bo revenue a go duela. And I say, young people want instant convenience. So in reviewing YDF, monana ba tla gore le ha leng teng a batla go duela, should be able to do that online. So we are seeking to digitalize all our services, to modernize all our services, because the clientele that we serve, serve old archaic methods. That's why ra struggle as a ministry, but we are determined to turn the corner. Some projects di a sokola ka gone gore monana ga ka a hiwa matla a go tlhaloganya entrepreneurship ke dikgwetlho tse dintsi, mme ka gore it has a developmental aspect to it, ra leka go nna re gatisipe ditonto. Ba bangwe monana a tshwanetse gore a duele gongwe 700, ra mo amogela hela gore le ha o ka tlisa 50 pula hela go supa gore you know you have a responsibility. Tsela kgopo ga ela tsenageng, so ga re nyara gore ekisa ka moso ha o sa reng mme hela yone thotloetswe yo ya shorter. So in overhauling YDF, we are really looking at the whole spectrum, and payments ditla okahadiwa. We would like to create a youth-friendly service total. Re bogosi issue tsa sport ko Thamaga tse leng gore ne re di thuswa ke council, re lebile gore rona re le MySec, then we did not have capacity. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Tausani. Okay.
Thank you, Chairperson. Ya go Thamaga ga ke na information e tletseng, so that nka se ke tlhomamisise gongwe se ka tswang se diragetse with the, as Honorable had indicated, 200,000 pula that was meant for construction of ablution blocks. Mehela se ke se tlhaloganyang with projects that followed after that ke gore we underestimate the actual cost of these projects. Ebe le gore ya ka re ba hile 200,000 jana, gongwe the actual cost to complete the project is around 500,000. Gongwe ke gone ya ka ne ke bua gore ga ke tlhomamise gore with the case ya Thamaga gongwe ke gone mo itlhelang gongwe go sa hela gore madi a neng ra ba hile was not sufficient to complete the project as we had intended gore be hela entse ka teng.
I get really the mini stadium. Almost all of them. I get to you guys are 10. I get to want to lay pay by a mini stadium conceived around 2016, 2017. Crowd puts and I was a Thamaga, me, Hela, Hotoka, had the project, how common in your ministry, including mini stadiums.
Jalo Chairman, tota yaanong ka gore bua ka di-mini stadium nka tlhomamisa se ke se bua ka gore tsone ke a di tlhaloganya. The issue of conceptualization and actually, as I was saying, the actual budget to complete the actual project as per the scope. The stadiums, we were given 5 million pula per stadium. With that 5 million pula, me re tshwanetse go aga a football pitch with artificial turf, the change rooms, the ablution blocks, kiosks, and a boundary wall. And at the time, 2018, when they started, BFA had just completed their football pitch in an artificial turf at 4.7 million. Me rona with all that scope, with a 5 million. And that is why, Chairman Kerry, we underestimated or we did not conceptualize these projects simply.
Yeah, direct. I say need. Telling me the project ke padisitswe hela ke gore bone batho ba neng ba engagetswe ha ba kgone go tsweledisa tiro ba e wetsa. I can say that with Bobono, I can say that with Etotome, I think I can also say that with Marinar. So it's not a question now of Marinar Salekan.
The reason why I say that's one of the issues.
O pateletsa kgang ya madi ka gore mo mahiro a mangwe ba bandena bone ba ba hirilwe ba togela hela go tsa ba nna le manganga le council until yaanong stadium sa teng na ghost yela ho is issue ya madi le yela gore engage from people who cannot deliver on the product you want.
Chairman, yaka ke bua, that's one of the issues. Mihela, assuming that we had the best contractors, we would still not have been able to complete on time because end of beginning of financial year to fund all these components that is stated. Indeed, some of our contractors had recently as per expectations. Because even laha resnang honere terminator ko ileng gore ga ba dira sentle teng re patela sa go emela madi gore financial year simologe re be re tla re
Thank you, R1000, but I don't agree with you, Director.
Thank you.
I listen to that's my experience.
You know, this question, Director, in itla kama baka gore ke batla gore lole the user ministry la ha le sena manpower ha le tla ka ha di projecting me gone lona how much is your interest ya go bona gore the product e le ne le re la e batla a ya dira ga diwa. I was giving an example ya Tamaga deliberately ne ke ntse ke ya go yone ya di stadium ne ke bua ke ha ya Tamaga le se ka yela ke batla gore ke utlwe tota gore do you have interest on the projects that because the project ya Tamaga di toilet it's about almost 10 years old, maybe even up to now I say hey but lona gone mo dibukeng tsa lona how ka kwa wana ya tlhaga gore ne le ntse 200,000 le re go aga di toilet ene a dirisitswe jang kana go diragala eng. This is my concern gore le ntsha madi me ga ngile batla go itse gore a dirile wa bona e be go sala go emehela jalo even up to now I will visit you ke tla go add details ka yone ka gore I'm not necessarily trying to buela la kganya Tamaga ke sekai se ke batla go supa gore go gongwe le ntsha madi me ga le khatlhegele go bona gore a diro ya ke ya manya le yone ya collection ke a itse gore ya collection tota ke ya ka PS a bua ke e mathata ka gore ga gona monitoring ga gona eng se se dirwang go di office tsa youth ya no PS gone ne ke a me ga o ne mo gompieno yana o tshwana go gore ala o ya pele ga cabinet ya o kope gore madi o tla youth a kulutiwa a phimolo ene di grant ya la ka bo chema ene grant ya ka chema be di simolla fresh gore le ka gore yanong le direng ka YDF kana ka lenane o le pele le thusa youth ya bobedi gape ga go botoka le finance batho ba in a form of cooperatives so that ka gore you are thin on the ground you can be able to monitor a project ha ile ko Tamaga ga go tlhoke gore ile one yalo ile a big project e be le tsamale ya ko le tlhoka transport ya go dikologa constituency yotlhe you know that project is done highly thing you spend the 2 million ha o santse le 2 million mo projecting eo la e supervisor le bona gore bana le tswa ka sengwe mo teng ke ngwa di gantsene ke akanya gore in your new development ya policy le ke go bona gore le ka dira ya but go boelong ke kopo hela mo go lona nna se nga se kopa mo go lona ya ka le dira policy ya a ga le bone gore le tshwanetse gore le engage banana mo go yone gore le ba engage le go bua le bone le utlwe tota gore gate le ka ba thusa jang gona le gore ya ka o sa tswa go mention rightfully so gore tota ga se monana mongwe le mongwe le gore o itse sepe ka entrepreneurship wa bona mme le utlwe mo go bone ba leng gore ba iteka ba dikgwebo gore le utlwe gore tota ba akanya jang gore le ka ba thusa botoka jang gona le gona re ba thusa individually maybe go sa tswe sepe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. Just to say, idi khakololo tse di molemo tse le rona re ntseng re di lebile gore go molemo gore re thuse banana bale di tlhopa re be re itse gore re focusa all efforts le gone gore go tswe sengwe se se molemo. YDF currently provides for 4 to 5 gore re neela di individual but le ba ba ka tlang ba ipopile nyana le bone ba neelo re be re nna le aspect e nngwe e leng gore go na le lehatshe le leng gore banana ba katla ba le bo more than 4 or 5 ba thusiwa re berekisana le sister entities like the Ministry of Agriculture, bo buang, bo leya, jalo jalo. I can give an example here, Sechaba Farm around Mankhodi. We have an MOU with Buang, for example, like piggery, like poultry, like horticulture, like it's like incubation. Banana ba go ithuta go commercializer ere ba tswa ho be ba khona gore as we speak to our partners like Gobo Agriculture re bua le gona go tsata me banana ba ka accessa le hatse ja me le hatse le re nang le lone because MySec also has a few assets re ka le dirisa jang go ngwela banana or we can have these public private partnerships me le gore focus hela ke gone go thusa monana so ke dilo tse re di amogelang tse leng gore re simolotse go bereka mo go tsone. Is MyGA not considering writing of YDF loans like Bochema? I do not think so currently, but it's our review itself. It la re bolelela iri thusa gone gore going forward re halola mathata a jang ba santseng ba iteka. I must say gona le banana ba eleng gore have been very successful. But it is a YDF ya la ba simolotse ka 100,000 yo gompieno ba le kopile bile ba re so re thuseng ka di issue tsa scaling up ha re batla go exporta tsa product certification, service certification ba eleng gore they are forward looking and ha ba ntse ba taboga from pillar to post ha gone ba tshegetsana. So in reviewing YDF we are also looking at ba eleng gore ba tlebe ba batla go godisa dikgwebo tsa bone, not only focusing more on startups.
Thank you very much.
Chair, can you maybe have 3 examples of the projects in banana that are very successful and they've been running for the past 3 years or 5 years?
Rekatisa maina di companies at Tense.
Then nanga choose kra hore ke di balana lo ena through you share. Ke di malana lo ena hore bating kana o bana hore bao they were real entrepreneurs. Banale that drive ya gore this is what they want to do. A typical example, there is a girl ona fandiwa wa roka. That girl is far. She's far as we speak. She was an entrepreneur. Nanale that drive chese wa gore o batla go dira me gore why dia fone mo tlhola isa mo tlhole. It didn't hamper her from doing what she wanted to do. She's doing quite well. Sasa matata la ke market le gore le rona re le di ministry go ngware dira di tender nyana na ga re ba hisentle me kra gore that's a clear example.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Tausani. Kanye to na ona ke gone gore even when you have projects ready you show interest mo tsone. Le dira di project go di supervisor ke council ha o kwa bona da tsile pegote ba youth ki ba the was sports kiba hela jalo. I think you should take interest in the projects that are associated with yourself. Honorable Dikwa.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think we do take interest, sir. I've been to these many.
Go ahead.
So it's the mini study. After visiting those projects, I say to my team, the way we conceptualize these projects, a big boundary wall. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and what is worse, these are development projects, but they are funded under recurrent. It's not, I don't think it's the recommended, because then there is uncertainty. So I just under youth, but I believe Borebokosi have picked lessons for Kupil.
Honorable, no caro, Carabon, no, nor more Arabic.
Yeah, Hatikita,
you are great now.
It will be ideal for benchmarking purposes. Or other youth can come from other districts and go and benchmark. Countrywide, there are successful projects that have been running for more than 5 years. Because from your presentation, one can conclude that so far YDF is a failed project.
Project.
Lion tutoring, for example. Lion tutoring. Lion tutoring.
Lion tutoring.
Can I believe they are Limobuana was it about do level among? One example.
Lion tutoring.
Halenalibana, Baba Timber tutoring, let lights.
Line tutoring, what he's suggesting, or how on success stories, so IDF, or more nere information and deposit with our secretariat for benchmarking purposes, like he said. Honorable what?
There is a concern generally the rural populace where the attention that is given to the urban areas. So I just want to know what is your ministry doing to ensure that the rural youth have equal opportunities to development opportunities to and resources. Because the rural means that the area is not developed.
Yes.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Dihwa. As I said when I started, we really maiga. The passion to reach out to youth. This is why really decentralized the office across all districts. Youth facilities. Youth facilities over time due to lack of funding and many other reasons. Because Hadi achieve sailing or Nesika or banana kuri haulon zeo batshwanetse a place go ba kang go iporutuntshiwa teng go ba ka yang to go supa tse ba di dirang go ba ka yang have working space, have recreation space go ba ka ithutang teng mme because of lack resources at the lack of resources, we have developed proposals from PN to refurbish these youth centers through the support, the corporates, or Batswana ba pehela ba ba go. And very soon, re tla be re ntse re re kana bana ba ke ba rona botlhe a re ba kopane. Because in every district or every village, ha gona le ko banana ba ka go bitsang ko ga rona, ko ba kang go tsa dithuso teng. Like mo Gaborone mo rena le BNYC facility, a reasonable facility, million. Has already is being optimally utilized. So, ritemogetse gore ha se banana hela ba ba go di kgaolong ba ba sokolang to access service and support. Le mo urban areas tota ke di kgwetlho mme re kitele ka thupana sa gore banana, now that we are focused on banana legend, sengwe re tshwanetse re se dire se se visible, se se beneficial to young people. Go ntse go na le di-programme tsone tsa bo National Art Festival, ke dilo tse di tlang once a year, tse di lekang go rotloetsa talente, mme monana ba na latlhelwa sa se latlhelwang ho gore a kgone go nna itsamaise a gole. Tsone di issue tsa bo football constituency, football e leng gore yone e bile ntse ena le makete a yone. Ke mo go teng the spirit is willing but the body is weak. Go ntse hela yalo mme rotlhe yaka le ba sport ba gokoleditswe mokgweli wa go focus on sports and arts, make sure gore re godisa the creative sector. Ke tsa gore madu a sport a simolotse go bonala mme le ka go go rona hela. This was a great idea ya gore nya go ha gona le potential ga o ganya le tele focus ra addresse mathata a re nang le one re tla ya teng se.
Kore ha ke itse gore wa araba nna kana ya because o choose the example tsa mo Gaborone. Now I'm talking about the rural populace, the rural schools. I thought you would give an example of centers that are in rural areas. Let's take Okavango. What do you have there, Okavango, say the youth can access?
Makubanji.
O ka go sebetsa hela tshwara conference ya kuchani 30 seconds.
How you should just admit.
Come and give support. How wanna say?
Go Okavango. Go
Korakopo.
Kana merana le office ko Gumare. Gumare ke
that's a district.
I think it was just an example. It's already Babu Okavango directly. Just pick any in the country. That Okavango was
where you have facilities like Bananabaka, the facilities Bananabaka di Dirisa.
I agree the concern the Banabarunava in rural areas, in rural communities and rural schools don't access these development opportunities. So what are you doing to make sure that they also have equal opportunity like those in the rural areas? Kada we should curb rural-urban migration. Otherwise, Banabarunava go abandon us when we go to Kaulu Batlo at the Toropo Hell. Just because we concentrate the efforts in developing urban areas that are already at a given level.
Sorry.
Thank you, Honorable. Hele jaka ke ntse ke re kana rena le footprint across all districts. Office ya rona go mo le go ha ile teng e serve banana more the entire district. How is our idea for example? Interestingly, le ha go hiwa di ceiling. go makewa sure gore go na le inclusivity. Constituency nngwe le nngwe ya newa so that ga gona ba ba ka reng rona re kgapetswe ko ntle. Ha go dirwa tsone di art festival, go dirwa tsone di sport tournament, constituency nngwe le nngwe ya newa. Gongwe re ka re ga go a lekana ba ba ko teng ba tlhoka go hiwa mo go bonalang.
Banana slave, for instance, ke batho ba metshameko. Go na di facility tse di tshwanang bo di holo ko ba ka kgona go dira teng bo music studio ya la jalo. Kana ke batho ba moopelo le tse dingwe. A mme le na le tsone mo mahelong. As far as I know, it's all the community hall, but we tell the dirisiwa ga ntse di gapilwe ke di kereke. Banana bone ba sna ha ba tsanante. The Jimmy, for instance, all around, do you have them tse di ka supportang banana in the different areas and that in the rural areas?
You are saying only the youth officers. I don't know whether you call them youth officers at district level. Do you have any reports that indicate the kind of talent, the nature of talent that they concentrate on developing in rural areas? I think we should have examples. In this given area, we have developed some of them might be maybe self-employed because of the talent that they have developed. Some of them might have developed to an extent where they go there, market their talent. Is a result of your operations.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Member. The creative sector, the DPS responsible for art, he would like to talk to that. Really ministry the library to ensure that banana have access to these services across the country. Once banana di tuto, training in ICT, free internet. Banana have bata go dira eng kana ba bata go research mo go eng ba itse gore di library tsonetse ke gone go eleng gore ba ta thusana te ile example hela go na le mebino le ha Ramatebisi a ta bua re itse gore go na le di districts tse eleng gore ha go buiwa ka mebino ya mehuta re itse gore re ya kae. Banana ba bangwe bile have been invited to the embassy tsa rona to go and showcase talent le dilo tse ba di dirang kana ke di basket kana ke di nkgwana kana ke manyena kana ke eng ba thusiwe to expose tsone di talent tse ba nang le tsone. Ke tla re ga go a lekana mme ma ikaelelo a teng a gore go nne le inclusivity re itse gore banana ba lehatshe lotlhe. Last year we had a conversation, I think I was in Serowe, but community development officer who said, Ghana in every rural village in this country, like the back of my hand. Kitor banana bahakai, di khotsa bone eng, di strength tsa bone eng. So let us work together, le lona batho ba youth, because rona we are on the ground and together. This is why we are working on the plans for a pele. Really, the service to our young people. If you want to comment.
I thought you'll give an example. Now, they have an income presently, by they are in rural areas. But all in all, maybe I should encourage you to visit some of these rural constituencies, Ghana district, so that you get to know what is happening there. because I go to a situation o sa ithaloganye completely. So ke kopa gore o tswele ko nte wa go bona seemo e re o ta o plana kwano o bo thaloganya situation ko nteko re ska ra plana ra le mo di officing kwano ga re nne le a deliberate plan ya go tsamara go bona seemo ka ga sentseng ka teng so le se bothoko ga se monate ebile bana ba tea se ba ba ka developang even your outreach as gore di aba touch in a way they don't change their lives ke sone se re se buang kana ha o dira selo tshwantse gore o change livelihood ya motho a kgone go le ene a motivate ba bangwe ba ta go morago ba kgone go bona gore bona yo le o simolotse yana le rona that's where we want to go so ke go kupa hala ka gore tswela konte o thaloganya o ska utwa di reports di tswa go di district yela di kwadile gongwe ka segwa se monate o botsa gore gongwe go ntse yalo that's not the case.
Chairperson, and I can say I have been to all the 31 districts and I have engaged the offices or per district, the challenges, Sabanana, Kidihe, dira eng go ba thusa mme gape ke itlhaganelle gore kere tiro e ya go developa motho ha ke ya kgonwa ke lephata le le lengwe hela. Tuto, for example, Tuto changes lives. This is why really we are working with others. Monana ozen in skolo a kgonne go bona le tseno. O change the entire family. So rotle a more private sector, a more public sector, Monana is at the center of the development of this country. Youth, given the resources they have. So, honorable, there is a lot that we can do to facilitate and enable also not just looking at youth or sport. Together,
I believe one of your responsibilities is to empower women to make sure that they take positions of leadership. I want to know how, to what extent are women represented in the leadership of government and the parastatal, and are you happy about the position so far? I don't know inequality.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable D. When it comes to leadership in government and parastatals, Totabo Meba Ba Khatetse Bill. Executive Kadamoha Horomente. I can't give you the figures, but think hore Harsa hit the borre Rizamaho Holohomohela. Jaka Kiri Limatata Madonna Ronake ko political representation. Me how level informal sector Ronalwana. Utalibella is dominated by Bomme. It is still developing. Dipoelo tsa teng ga di kalo. So borre bana le letsano yana le botoka. Isone se ileng gore as a restructured ministry, we are giving a lot of attention to issues women economic empowerment. Kaone mabaka a gore re tshwanetse go nonotsha mme, also mindful of the fact that most households are headed by bomme, baba single, raising large families. Mekana ke ene monano o re eletsang gore a godisiwe sentle a tsogele ene le motho setšhabeng a tsholetsa le botshelo ba gagwe le ba lelapa. So mme hela go tlhola go teke thari ha re ka motlogela ko morago The Windsor development, the RSI boning. So women economic empowerment, Jaka Pernalisa Hajasonesa, gender-based violence. Onore Kiri Tata Kabore. So I'm not going to 5 Teberuri. Handlo channeling one, I allowed Ozelwa di Chezo, Handlena Kokonsu. So whilst we have women in leadership, more public sector, by Tolupante. We really need to lift them and lift the entire nation.
Tertiary institutions, who is heading there? Is it men or women? And let me leave it for now. Because now,
yes.
my view is different.
I think PS is very important. I think statistics is trying to answer itself for women in leadership, women in politics. That's basic statistics for an accounting officer. Really should have it. Or statistics sincere. I think the literature has information around that. So how is not when how engages in the literature among men, but it's available. Honorable Kikhoregi.
Thank you, Chair. PS ke tsela le team ya go re tsela gore re dumedisane. YDF ina le baka le kae e rana mo Botswana le gone since then up to now re ka re budget a yone cumulatively e amount to bokae. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Chairperson. YDF started at 2009, 2010 financial year. Hompieno, total number of funded projects 13,170. And we estimate the number of jobs created at about 24,742, cumulatively having spent about 1.29 billion. Amount of loan repaid, just about 42.3 million.
Ha re lebile ditiro tse di thamileng against madi 1.29 billion versus 24.7 thousand. Would you say it's a program ye le gore me yone mo go thameng ditiro e dira go tala ka diata kana ja?
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Kekgonegile. YDF ga e dire ditiro tse di nametsang. Ke gore le ga o leba, for every project that is funded, tsa di individual, go create ditiro tse pedi. So we are thinking, so far, it hasn't really delivered as expected. Hence, we need to just pause and re-look into YDF Keleboga.
Same ministry, in a 100% grant program for women, and then 50% grant program for banana. Same ministry, but these are two marginalized groups of batho. Who dirwa ke go na le gore nka be le 100% hot.
Thank you, Chairperson, and 100% grant. I take it Honorable Kekgonegile is referring to the Women Economic Empowerment Program. Yes, it was giving 100% grants. Ga bo gona mathata a mantsintsi program eo e na le lebaka le le telele e le teng ka molomo e sna le ha ile thebe mo teng because there was no capacity in terms of funding. Ha go tsa go mahala. The Department of Gender became overwhelmed. Le bone hela le yone capacity ya go administer the grants e be na mathata. A few years ago, government took the decision gore women economic empowerment totally on YDF DCwe ko Ministry wa Entrepreneurship gore di ya go lejwa hela di tshwana le bone bo sida jalo jalo. At least YDF yone na tswela nna le madi ebile over time entse yo kelediwa le ha se ga sepe me ga iseng go tota e go implementwa go entrepreneurship because they continue to say ha rena capacity na male tsweledisa me madi yone a le mo voting ya bone. So it was only this year that then the Ministry of Finance reinstated Madia YDF mo dibukeng tsa rona go youth. So we are in the process of getting the formal return of YDF, which never really left because we kept implementing it, except we were asking for money from entrepreneurship. Yeah, women economic empowerment. Ya ke se khapaela se ho ga sona madi se go entrepreneurship. Maybe le sone re mo processing ya go se kopa. Gone gore yanong re tle re age sesha ga re dumele gore an entrepreneur should be the one surviving on grants. Ke a leboga.
Sekgapa se se na le baka le ka ile sekgapa in terms of years.
Women Economic Empowerment Program is a nalebo 00 since 2017. Me, hona le program e nngwe ho teng Entrepreneur. Elengore is funded by the UN Women, le DPS. Me, intse focusitse thata mo go ruteng bomme sa kgwebo. It's only this year that we'll be having seed money gore haresna go rutuntsha me bolo re khone go moha
Sekgapa se se na le baka le le kae?
ke re le se sa le se tlhokile madi ka 2017 se.
Okay.
Go thoka madi ga le baka le le kana I'm go show commitment to the very concept of women economic empowerment. Ke ra go be wa se khapa for 8 years. Could that be a measure of commitment to the empowerment, economic empowerment of women?
Atile potso e neng e botswa ke honorable ke khonegile ya gore e ne e le 100% grant. Me the demand overstripped madi a neng a le teng. Even the capacity ya gender affairs to deliver on that in a sitting. Go emisa that funding in a le gore a re emiseng pele and find ways tsa gore re ka dira yang ke a dumela gore entse le baka e sa hiwe madi me jaaka ke bua now we are sharpening our focus. We want women economic empowerment program back le one re batla go ya ga sesha like YDF ke a leboga.
I think my issue here is that la ha ile when batho ba implement ba le overwhelmed. Me to stay for 8 years ubuaka economic empowerment me go sna program specifically e le focus on women economic empowerment. How should be commitment not on you, maybe perhaps on the government as well?
Empowerment tsa me e mehuta thuto hela ka bo yone le yone ke empowerment. As I say go na le gore go ntse go na le di thuto se di focusang hela mo kgwebo le bomme mme e le gore ha ba sena go rutwa ya lo yanong gore a goreng ba ikoba ka bona madi teng ke tsa gore bomme ga ba lotlelwa ko ntle ga bosida ga ba lotlelwa ko ntle ga bo chama ba ntseng ba ema kana ba ba maloba le kwa di-bankeng. But I agree, because when we look at other countries like Zimbabwe, for example, they take women economic empowerment very seriously. Every bank e tla be ena le desk ya bomme, and ba na le preferential rates tsa gore mme ba ba thusa jang ka madi. So we keep learning from others gore ha re ntse re itlhokotsa re le ba ko morago gore mme ko pele re ka ipaakanya jang re dira mo go botoka.
PS o sa tswa gore go bua thata ka gore GBV e rotloetswa thata ke socio-economic issues surrounding women. Go kopela 5 theberuri go ke bothata go dira re kgante le motho ba go kgontsha o ka re o na le tshwanelo mme a sena nayo. Ga ba bua thata ka thuto ya gore GBV e dirwa thata kana e rotloetswa thata ke gore bomme ga bana thuto mo go rang gore madi go a tshwara di-project tsone tseo under women empowerment program yoneo ke kono go hokotsa kana go lwantsha GBV mo lehatshe. But gore mme motho a ka go botsa within the ministry who prioritizes ga se PS mo mading a motho a hiwang a PS ga ka ke a renya ke a utwa le khaola ha batala ka ke la khaola ha boto ka khaolang who prioritizes a mme ga re ka ke ra lebella ministry thata to say the ministry failed women.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Kephanagile. Over Department ya Gender Affairs, ke ka tshwantshanya le bo library ke department e ntseng e kgarakgatsega. So e gorogile ko maeseke ka ngwaga o 2022 e tla sekgapa so sentse se seo. So ha sekgapa so se le ko entrepreneurship ka 00 PS wa maeseke a go kopa madi wa go kopela madi dilo tse di under maeseke. Clearly I agree gore at a government level when PS is interested in issues of women economic empowerment, we should advocate gore le ha ise ha gonna like we are doing now, le ha ise ha gonna mme a itsenyetswe sengwe ke sone se ke reng we are in the process ya go kopa tetla gore women economic empowerment program e hudugo ko e leng teng e tle kwano so that we can program for women, because we do believe for the issues of gender inequality di drive-iwa ke gone go na le tsholelo kwa tlase.
Let's talk sexual harassment in the workplace versus the labor laws. Currently go na le review tse dintsi kana go na le tshekatsheko ya melao ya pereko, but at the same time mo lehatsheng la Botswana GBV ga e tsamaye mo strateng hela le mo mahelong a pereko e tsamaya teng e le ntshigala thata. And in the past sexual harassment in the workplace has proven to be a very difficult issue to deal with just because the labor laws were silent ka yone. Le dira go le kae le youth and gender go influence the coming labor laws gore a be di kgona go nna clear to spell out clearly gore sexual harassment in the workplace ke eng maybe le go ka nna le kothao ka ta sa molao mo go yone.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Member. More public service. Rena le tshetlana yone ya sexual harassment gore ga e letlelesege. Le ba eleng gore ba ka e dira mme re ke tshwanetse go itse gore o ka ikuela ba tseelwa dikgato. Ministry of Labor and Home Affairs is one of those ministries tse eleng gore re bereka le tsone, and we know they are even working on ratifying the ILO convention, the issue so that we domesticated is a kind of public service across the country. Tota ha re bua gender equality, re lebella le strategic partners gore hale re ka tswa kaeng, hale re ka tswa kaeng re lomagane gore re khone gore re pushe this issue tse di beileng bo mme ka ha mosing re di address. So sexual harassment, we are alive to it, and our main partner being Ministry of Labour and Home Affairs, le melao e ba ntseng ba e dira. Tota re bua ka gender and youth mainstreaming, or in all the laws, re bona gore bomme le banana, what does it mean for them? In all the policies, bomme le banana, what does it mean for them? In all the programs. So we are active and alert to those.
Thank you. Your proactiveness in this issue is quite vital. You botoka tata PS because la hanzo hona le bona Public Service Act le ditsetana tsone tseo. Boamaruri ke hore 6 out of 10 women in the workplace are sexually harassed or have an experience of sexual harassment. So we need to be proactive mo go yone. District organizational structure. What's amaile the district tsotlhe ka bo 31 go a decentralize-iwa mo Botswana. Most of the ministries are aiming for their headship, ministry headship, ya bele go E2 in the districts. Let's jang go youth and gender in terms of decentralization and district organizational structure. Hompieno baba headang it district kana district headship it's a mahakai most scaling say my
Through Chairperson, thank you, Honorable. Go Ministry wa Youth and Gender. Do office tsaron. Re di hedwa at D1. Moine le di sub o moile di sub di hediwa at D2. But most se le mo go sene gompieno sa restructuring. Like in the executive summary, I referred to teething problems. I referred to the need to resource the ministry. What I tell you, can re khaogana staff. The offices anyway. The coordinator tsa teng, all the heads have moved to the Ministry of Sport and Arts. If you have a coordinator D1, I'll go Office X, about movie Sport and Arts. It's a problem, and we can't even make that D4 person act because there is no position to act on. We are having a conversation, although we understand the resource limitations. This is why we are hopeful that when the exercise now is completed across all ministries, hale le hale go sna go rationalize-iwa go ka bonala di position tse leng gore di ka re thusa gore re go ka ba diphatla. Rona even before restructuring, we were unable to tsholetsa body to D1 because kana it has budgetary implications. Me ha re kopa madi ba tshwari ba se patche be bare ha re ke ra lo keletsa madi a di salary ka gore ha re na one re dira ya re be re nyame re letleleng to via from vote A to vote B e be lo gore ga te me kana ka ditsamaiso ha re ke ra via re la madi go tswa ha go tsena ha. So we are seeing this restructuring as an opportunity for us to make good.
But Hode, do you have structures in place to go before different panels say gore se ka approve?
Thank you, sir. We recently appeared before the upper panel just to approve the structure, the functional structure, some ministry, selling include the districts. So what we then have to do next is to appear again to go and defend our deployment structure. And we are just optimistic that we shall get assisted. Thank you.
Yeah, Honorable. All.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Accounting Officer and your team. Honorable Chair, it's quite evident or noticeable for the PS wishes for us not to discuss the issue of the AFCON bid because it is one of those issues that should have found its way into the executive summary. But in any case, let me continue. P.S., you stated, and I fully agree with you, you have over 450,000 youth who are swimming in hopelessness. My question is, are you aware of young people ba ileng gore ba ko mahatsheng a mangwe e le bana ba ileng gore the Ministry of Higher Education ga o kgone go ba thusa ka sepe, especially those who are self-sponsoring go advance their education? Are you aware of those?
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Pologolo. I am aware, and I hope this issue will be discussed with the relevant ministry because we are one government and we each have our own portfolios. If the issue is to sponsor learners at higher education, that clearly will be the responsibility for higher education, and they will have their own procedures as to who they will sponsor and under what circumstances. Because at the end of the day,
the issue is not to sponsor.
I understand that these are self-sponsored learners. And I understand that some of them, botsadi bo thaela mo tseleng gore ba ka hetsa kana botsadi bo ka tlhoka gore bana ba thusiwe ka living expenses kana ba supportiwe hela ka e petsela. So,
yes. Are you aware? If you are, just say you are aware and then we move on.
I did say I'm aware, sir.
Okay. Do you have a database of these young people by law that are self-sponsored?
I do not have it, sir.
Okay. I'm bringing this up because these are young people who their parents and they have their plight and issues that in the last parliament, I brought this to the attention of the minister. You have young people out there. Do you care to know where they are, who they are, the challenges they meet as a Minister of Youth? Not necessarily to sponsor. They are not sponsored by government. But would you agree with me, Jorge? It should be something that your ministry would have an interest in, at least to know and find it in your ministry is that well being taken care of? How is it going?
Thank you, Chairperson. I think I'd like to know more regarding the expectations of our ministry in relation to these students who are self-sponsored. Horizontal Honorable would like us to help them with what? Is it living expenses? Is it the sort of help that you need? Does it not fall under the Ministry of Higher Education? I understand Honorable Member says he engaged the Minister of Youth. I take it the Minister of Higher Education has also been engaged, and I'd like to know more in terms of hore rona keletso ke gore re tsene ha kae, because as I said, portfolio responsibilities are defined. Rona monana mongwe le mongwe a ho ko mining, a ho ko construction, a ho ko kae ke monana. Mme hela monana o ileng gore kana o ko health kana o ko kae go na le dithuso dingwe tsa tshwantseng gore a dihiwe ko sectoreng eo. Mme ha re itse gore sectora eo e hella ha kae rona re tsena ha kae gongwe mo go ka nthusa go.
No, question here is issues of young people, especially these ones who are outside the country. Would it be anything that your ministry can look into? My conversation with the minister then was that she will look into it because the issues they go through will be of interest to her and the ministry. So that has not been the case. If that is not the case, we can move forward. I will take it up with her.
Thank you, Chair.
Now, on the issue of staff welfare that Honorable Kekonegile was on, the rationalization exercise, has it in any way affected the morale of the staff? Do you have any grievances coming out of this exercise in your ministry?
Chairperson, thank you, Honorable Pologolo. Ministry wa rona ona le di grievance hela tse, I think tse di tshwana le tsa bo lack of progression, staff se stagnator go sena zone di post gore ba e kae. With this restructuring, I think I have mentioned one of the pressing issues that we have. Gore ba bangwe ha re kgaogana yana ba ya kwa go sala vacuum e leng gore ga re se re kgone go e close gompieno re emetse gore go settle re tle re thusiwe. Go tsere nako gore bodiredi bo bone placement letters, because how we involve the ministry tse pedi gore la gore we involve mohiri ke ene o leng gore o ta kwala gore wena semamang o ta placeiwa ko ministering. That exercise we had hoped would be done swiftly, but I can say we are coming to a close now. That has created anxiety among staff. But we are not getting enough information. Is it going to be good for us or we're going to be worse off? Change management, we have plans to manage it and to offer counseling through our partner institutions.
Is there a criteria in place for determine who goes where? And if that is the case, has it not impacted negatively in some of the people in terms of progression? Because maybe by it does not afford them the opportunity to grow.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Pologolo. Ho na le staff se leng gore go potlie gore wo qualification ya go kana is related to sport or arts or youth development. it was easier to place. But a lot of our staff, co-ministry ngole wa MySec, ke batho ba neng ba na le dithutego tsa bo social work, bangwe e nnile ma-teachera, and ba youth ba re kana go moga youth development is a profession. We really need to train people so that re itse gore as a ministry responsible for youth, re dila jang le batho ba youth. Go moga agenda le gone is a profession. Me ka ha go ntseng ka teng, a lot of us are just generalists. So ba neng ba kgona go place you given the qualifications tse ba nang le tsone, ba neng ba place you. We then had a conversation le mohiri gore mme jaanong re dira jang ka ba e leng gore ke tla ba bitsa generalists. Re bo re dumalana gore kana we need to resource the two ministries. So go reela gore re ba kgaogane to the extent possible in an equitable fashion. Me re dira jalo ha re ba romella intent to place, gore simole re ba romella intent to place you. Gore masego ka gore di ministry di a kgaogana, re na le intention ya gore re go place go youth and gender. Please revert within 7 days gore wa dumalana kana jang. So staff was given an opportunity to air their views or make their representations. And I must say we had about 17 officers ba ileng gore ne ba re nona ka mabaka a keletsa go ya ko keletsa go ya kwa. So those representations are being considered. We aim to have dealt with those this month.
Do you have in your ministry officers or personnel that has been on C1 for the past 15 years? And would you not agree with me that legitimate expectation is that they will grow into the D-band positions should they become available?
Stagnation is and I can say that's one of the things that ministry wa rona. And maybe it's across government. I've been co-minister of basic education and have seen teachers stuck at C1 until they retire. It's a big problem which is being worked on. Janujaka ki bua ka deployment structure that we will be presenting soon. Really kile hore ra address so many issues of stagnation, because we had a situation where you will have somebody alimo C1 and then you have this kind of requirements to serve at D3, you should have served at D4. So we are mindful of those, and in designing our structures, we needed to provide route progression. But as I said here, the new positions, it would be difficult to create them at this time. We are just hoping rearrange those people but your opportunity to progress for progression.
Has there been instances where D-band positions become available, and instead of promoting these employees at C1, they are instead filled by external personnel?
Ordinarily, when a position falls vacant, harili bile semo serele mo go sone gore o tla itlhela ile gore ba si bende ba khotlagane ba bontsi bo kae kgang e nna gore mme ke a go tomola popijang hela ko C1 ha re o lebella performance appraisal di tshwana hela kana ba sa harologane thata ke go motomola yang ke motsenya ko D4 ba bangwe what message would that send to them?
So you rather pick someone from outside?
Ordinarily, we then assess, ba apply that internal advert there, di robot ba apply, ba assessiwa, yo konang aba promotiwa. I must indicate that there are instances, say long worry, we get people transferred in. Ki mohiri.
Has there been instances where those positions become available and internally there is no advert and they get filled externally?
Filled without an advert?
Yes.
I don't know. I will need assistance. I'm not aware. Gongwe ka gone gore ga ke mogologolo thata mo ministry. Senior manager, are you aware?
Can you please? Matume.
Hata ga una speaking rights ma. I think o confirm what I said, where there would be instances saying where we'd receive an officer, because as I said, kana muhiri and odds and a high long where we'll be moving people across ministries. We've had a post co-procurement there, the three officer.
For the year under review, you had a grievance registered with the Office of the Ombudsman. What have you done with the matter? Is it resolved? Did you amicably conclude the matter? Is it the only one, though?
I'm holding a list of grievances. I'm looking at those that's been to the Ombudsman, but when I look at the dates, it's at 2022. So I'd be appreciative if we could have particulars of the specific cases that Honorable Member is speaking to for this year.
No. The thing is, for 21-22, at least the Ombudsman reported or recorded one grievance. The question is, are you aware of any, and was this matter ever resolved? And any other, if there are some.
Thank you. I thought not within the current year.
No.
Yes. In the list, as I mentioned, I see 2 cases. In fact, 3. Zenendi isitsweko Ombudsman.
And what is the status of?
Pending.
What does that mean? I mean, nothing has been done to remedy the situation.
In these cases, it's Botswana National Library Services. In the cases, officers complain of having operated at a higher level and not compensated for those. Status like pending, and I take it they are yet to be closed. And BNLS has moved to Ministry of Labor and Home Affairs. The information that I get ke gore ke babereki ba Botswana National Library Services ba leng gore ba ne ba bereka co-education, ba bereka ditiro tse di hagodingwana mme ba sa compensatiwe sentle. The Ministry of Basic Education has since agreed that the officers will be paid.
Can I ask you to check with the Office of the Ombudsman, because this is just one matter under the period under review. But because I don't think much was done about it. Are you aware of one matter that an officer was dismissed in 2007 and the PSC ordered that he be reinstated, and your ministry did not reinstate, they re-employed?
I'm not aware of that case, and I will check with my HR colleagues in terms of process and procedure. The PAC instructed that an officer be the PAC or Public Service Commission committee.
No,
Public Service
PSC.
Commission, Metarawa 2007. The disputes and grievances report, like outstanding matters. So the expectation they have been dealt with, but we can check and confirm and come back on that.
That will be
My last. Is it possible that instead of reinstating an officer, you can take a decision to rather re-employ? Is it within your right or your powers that when instructed to reinstate, you can use some discretion and re-employ instead?
I'm not aware if I have that power.
Thank you very
For
much.
me, if I get that instruction, I'll do the needful.
So the officer concerned, I'll make sure we follow this matter up directly with your office. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Pologolo. Honorable Managing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Setswana sa re moja morago kgosi mme ga gongwe ga go fenyana. I'm going to ask I'm going to ask 4 questions. Some of my friends and colleagues asked about 8, 9 questions. I'll only ask 4 questions. The first question, Canada, a lot of reviews and restructuring going on. Right now, you have the National Youth Policy of 2010, and you have written here, accounting officer, that the Ministry's review of the National Youth Policy of 2010 its guidelines and associated action plans aimed at responding to emerging local and international needs. The process involved consulting stakeholders across the nation to ensure inclusion and relevance. And finally, the draft policy and implementation plan have and undergoing the validity and approval. My point here is, Ghana Youth National Policy Review. They will have expectations. But it has taken more than 15 years for the review to be finalized. 2010, National Youth Policy 2010, I get. And then Kobo Yelongwari, it's undergoing the validity and approval. Why has it taken that long, 15 years? And the validity and approval, banana by expectedly. Happy to keep my on throughout. When I let chairman, low keeper on.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I thought Member Rock had before. Okay. The 2010 Youth Policy, Honorable Monaghan, in a policy approved implemented. Janu, Kanahana Quenze Zama, Honale a need for a policy lessons relevant. So, Ribuaga a new policy now, a follow on policy anonya 2025 onwards. So, Hayata 15 years in the review. The review started in 2022. The review started financial year 2022-2023. So Harare is under drafty tsile. Is it a technical committee? Yako reference group. Ibiano itlabe yako cabinet jalo.
Okay, I understand, being educated. 450,000 youth roam in the streets. 450 agalaria. Youth, babasan di tiro. When mehala halitzaya gongwe the creative industry, ilo itletse ka banana. Agalebone gongwe equitable distribution of government funds. Ekare isokametse ntlhaelo one. Koro o tla bona le gongba sports. Ba ya ko mahatshing ba go tshameka athletics. Go ya ko mahatshing wa go tshameka go sponsor a government fully through Botswana National Football Association and BNFSC and all that. Ba diragatsi bone ke ga go se go twe go tsere band ya ga banjo mosele ampo go tsere band ya ga mangela ampo viela e be lo nya ko mahatshing go ngwa go dira cultural exchange for a month or two or for a week or two. Go re ska ne kare madia ya hela ko ba football le ba taboga mebile aga tsoro ngwe. It's time you capacitate and empower Botswana. I think Abo Masetlang Botswana
Tourism organization.
Botswana Tourism Organization. As well as empower about two scouting. We have people whenever Masetlang, we had Bomas Corona before, but in Ekari, you know, be too Ekara Hai Bonalison. Empower capacitate.
Thank you, Honorable Monaghan. Ramatebesi, would you like to take that one through the chair's permission?
Yeah. Ramatebesi.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we have a program reissued through our grants through the National Arts Council of Botswana. Mobility grant. That mobility grant we use for the artists they need to travel, particularly abroad. Of course, in the previous years, the total grant that we were given,
as a ministry was very, very little. It was about 3 million. Over that 3 million for both mobility grants and all other, arts and cultural activities. So Mariatenale very, very, very limited to assist. But of course, this year we are quite excited because Rogeli is a grant for the year. I think it's about 10 million that we've been given as opposed to the 3 million that we've been given before. So with this grant now we'll be able to assist a whole lot more artists. But of course there will be a criteria that we follow as well in helping them do that. Thank you, Chair.
As a follow-up, is the next question and follow-up. Kurmo bone ba diragatsi ya ka gompieko re na le re wa mo America Steve Harvey a le mo Botswana ampoko South Africa ga kitse a bonye tender e leng gore e kilana controversial e be go nna ja ka teng e cancelswa mpo se re tswa thoko e be re go tsonga be boa yano e leng gore if you could confirm, or is it 450 million to one company, or to say, Sabudrahansi Botswana. And Elisena Batswana, Vakadran Tiroyo, Ampo within Southern Africa, like South Africa, for example. Leore a Honesa Sidiran so far, Karo Zwelit. Are you satisfied with what is producing? Doesn't have an idea. It appears like far-fetched from our cultures, from our everything. Are you satisfied with it? And totality no how America.
Thank you, Honorable Monageng. Thank you, Chair. The Botswana Ignite program, UNA commonly the Steve Harvey program, program it falls under the Ministry of State President. It is run there, so they are the ones who are better suited to be able to account for it. And if the chair may allow, express my own personal opinion about the program, State President. Thank you, Chair.
What do you think? You think your opinion will be career threatening?
No, Chair. I just think it can be done better than maybe it's been done. But we don't have access to controlling it, so that is why I can't reserve my comment.
That's right.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable
Nyame. Explanation ke a utlwa gore ne ke tsaela gore ka tota le lebeletse banana interests tsa banana no ka nna le gore Nyame gone ministry o no soloetsa ka dilo tse dingwe di isiwa go ministry tse dingwe mme tota di sa belong there di sa tswana gore di le teng ko but are hit le bua ka unemployment le tsentse banana mo teng gore ta banana ga employment ya ba hita ka thoko. The Department of Youth is focused on empowering young people in social, political, psychological, blah, 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 blah. Koraretsa political. And then I will empower banana politically. Could you give us an example? Obanale politiki lele department will to see the at an halinte. Karnama, I believe, Kore. Lekon le kwadile hele, me isiki le mo haiski temoheli. Hormana mongwe o empower le political. And get me clear, I'm not necessarily saying we empower rate on na ko parliament ampo ko council, but just being empowered politically.
County officer, maybe that is. Does he still fall within the arts? No, I think he's
Thank you.
directed to peers.
Chairperson, thank you, Honorable Member. Monana empowered politically, but ga re re a ya parlamenteng kana a ya counseling re raya jang so ke tle ke kgone go araba sentle se.
e kore accounting officer ne ke rela gore kore nna ne ka bona e kare ba sambe ba consult chairman.
Yeah, allow them to conference a little. Cut.
Ne ke re kore I think ke ne ka leka go tlhalosa gore ga ke re le mo banana le ba thusa go ya parliament po counseling ne ke re le explain gore ha le itlama gore because of unemployment le thusa banana in social, political, psychological, and economical issues or affairs. Politically, le raja. That's my question.
Go na le political education. Ha re tsa Botswana National Youth Council. Body ya teng ke banana. Ke banana botlhe ba ba under 35 ba leng gore are specialists in their own areas. My interest ke gore to mold a young person to be wholesome. So it are now go ba trainer gongwe to be business people, but they will also train banana in terms of knowing their rights. Voter education. Ke gore dilo tse di tsamaelanang le gone gore re ka tlisa diphetogo mo matshelong a rona by being active re le banana. I think you're political empowerment re tlhalosa.
Go na le this thing youth parliament. So, are you still keeping it? Is that something that is still being done? I've not heard about it for a long time. Youth parliament.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think recently we had communication from some young people very much interested in resuscitating youth parliament. So in ele perhaps they need to refine and work around that. Are they better off ba bereka le ofisi ya parlamente mme ra tla mogopolo wa teng thata ke sengwe se leng gore re se lebile gore ke mogopolo o montle mme o ka diragadiwa ka tsela e ntseng jang re go kile ga lekwa mme ga boela ko morago so this time ha go tsena go tshwanetse gore go tsene le ruri so nka re hela ke re ga ise wele ga ise e siame mme mogopolo wa gore we want to resuscitate this o gorogile and
it's mo tsela ya go empower youth politically
yone se ke gore honorable Monageng ona e tlhalosa gore ga ke re ba ya parlamenteng ga ke re ba ya counseling.
Yeah, well, not limited to those. I thought that was how I am.
Nga speak. Che. Nagere di answer ga PS is very vague. I think gongwe ba kwa dile hela ba tsa mo googling hela because they are not deliberate programs they leng gore di dira gore di empower banana gore gona le committee ba kopanang teng gongwe ba kana le workshop kana banana re batho ba le 5 kana ba le 12 ra general populace so gongwe re ka mo rutwetsa ya gore gongwe ba re ba ntse ba akanya gore ba ka dira eng ba teka deliberate policies and deliberate projects tse le gore di ka empower banana ra re bone bo gender links which is I think it's an independent NGO. It's a bomb. If I say go do workshop, bomb me by no involved in politics. You can think something like that. Say youth who are already involved in politics and see all the NGO that capacitator because we have low representation about nana mo politicking, because one, they don't have the resources, two, they don't have the skills. So if you can do that, listen political, let's have banana across all parties. We have a capacity or let's the experts about fundraising, karo dira manifesto, because one of the biggest issues is that youth are underrepresented in politics, and we make decisions relevant whole for them, and that might not really benefit them because we are not youth, we are not young people. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Malusi. And we take the advice, but we also have a plea to your leadership to advocate for electoral reform, because Hasebanana Hela Baba poorly represented in the political space. Ki buile ka bo mme kgantele, ki bua gape le bana le bogole. When we speak of inclusivity, we have to make sure hore go na le representation. So mo ga gompieno mo go dingalo mo go tlhoka matšhebetšhebe a madi gore o kgone go mobilize o to kgone go tlhophiwa. Banana ba sokola, bomme ba sokola, bana le bogole ba sokola. So we need your support, your advocacy. Hore, we should truly be an inclusive
Thank you.
nation.
The last question, and thank you for the answer, and thanks to Honorable Malusi for elaborating further. Now, personally, I think banana needs special dispensation. Banana, 450. Bamustrate. And I think for picking that number is clearly to show Ghana, I got it right. Banana form close to 60%. Yeah, our population. And again, banana got to have volatile. We are sitting on a time bomb as a country. How banana go back ma 2000? How about Cholo Halabari? Little again, le neglected. We'll get into problems. Last question. Kore libuaka kore ministry would say 82 million regarding job creation, and they'll anticipate over 1,652 jobs opportunities will be created. And this was 2022. I released ample budget 82 million. Honeme, so these projects and job opportunities, do you as a ministry end up monitoring, blowing up? Not in say 82 million for job creation, and we are expecting 1.6 thousand jobs. What is the status quo now? Can you, as a ministry, be able to say those jobs that create delaying, recommendation at least 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, instead of 800 out of 836? Because now, accounting officer, I have a feeling and believe for good intentions, but monitoring it's lacking. So out of those 836 projects, maybe he nyame mole hatsing dilekana, right? So they are doing well. Ekenale pelo abu Christiana me Bible yare how ntata tlokomela letsomane lane a re tlokomeleng banana accounting officer.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Monageng. Why dear for the tiro tse di dirang gore ya ka ke setse ke buile gore go na le tsone di-challenges tsa bo monitoring eng mme re na le office mo youth and gender e ntseng e dira monitoring and evaluation. They do produce annual reports which we can share. Tse leng gore will detail gone gore go tsamaya yang le ditiro tse di teng ke eng. But I should indicate that most of the monitoring of these projects di diragala tota during mo go teng grace period. A ke re bana ba tle ba santse ba aga ba bopa project be ba hiwa nako ya gore project e setlele before ba simolola go duela. Jaanong ha di ntse di tla ngwaga le ngwaga kana mme bodiredi kana capacity e se kalo gantele ba gore ba re we are supposed to go and monitor these projects ha gona dikoloi ha gona eng go gore then they start prioritizing gore metse e leng gore gongwe re tshwanetse go di sala morago ke dihe mme hela nkare we will share the reports tsa office ya rona on YDF which will give more detail.
Thank you very much. Ona le thobaelo ka banana gore o ka re mo dingwageng tsone tse tsa gompieno tse di-activities tsa bone ga di neelwe attention e leng gore e ne e bonala mo nakonyana e hitileng. Go na le di-competition tsone tsa di-national arts celebration tsa July tse banana ba le bantsi ba di-artist ba ntse ba bua gore o ka re go ha go repisitswe ebile le ngwaga ono jaana a gona notice ipe e ba ranye re go tana le sepe se se ka ba tseelang ka kwano ka di simolola di dirwa in the district bo di developa until di tako the national level. O ka ba ra reng hela ka kganye thwahalo ya lona kana yaanong batho ba setse ba bua dikgang tsa bo gore ka nako ele ya president Semama ne go le botoka gona le president Semama ke re o ithalosegela le go ba leng teng ba utlwe sente gore a mme a ntse teng activity mme le gone ke eng ha e le gore e teng e sa simololwe e bonala go dikgaolong.
Ya leboga Chair, the National Arts Festival is still there. I think the challenges that we face maybe is this transitionary period. One, we moved it from the ministry, or split. Rely on staff and Sarona to implement. We split we give it to the National Arts Council of Botswana, and the National Arts Council of Botswana has put up a solid plan together to implement the National Arts Festival with inputs. The inputs is making sure we recover people who this constituency, constituency. Because in the previous years, we used to have what we call the constituency art competitions. But because of various challenges and particularly budgetary constraints, maybe we could not carry forward with them. But we have the National Arts Council of Botswana, revamp the National Arts Festival. It's about from grassroots. What do we do to compete? Because what used to happen in Etebere, compete, then you have the national champions, next year, you still see the same people compete. The idea no, how about we think the National Arts Festival in a launching pad for all creatives. Then now we have a program for them to propel them forward. That's the idea behind this. So the national
the planning his grand plan. Me hela kere, me is simolotse with the constituency or haiyo this year constituency arts competition. Meeting the national arts festival. Kore ke batla gore o tshware sentle gore bone ba ba buang mara e ne simolla ko ene constituency e be ta herela ile ko national. I think in that form or ya no mo form ye ntšha a mme gore ngwaga o ne teng.
Thank you, Chair. The National Arts Festival e teng, Chair. Go ntse le di delays. Particularly kana ba batla go bereka le di association this time around to help implement it mo dikgaolong. Now, one of the challenges right now at this point in time, because the ministry has disbursed money to the National Arts Council of Botswana to run with the program, but I hitile go banking holong, but then ga ise ba creditiwe enough gore ba runele the program as intended. So ya no bone ba ready, but ba bohegile matsogo because of the financial resources tse di senditseng mo di accountants tsa bone to run with the program.
For me, di ta goroga go di constituency those funds.
Go gore re di phatalatse go di constituency, it would not necessarily be in like that. It would be working through associations. Gone gore media association di make sure gone gore go di constituency people, the artists, the opportunity to take part in the National Arts Festival.
Comment Minister of Finance never and they really try to rationalize and play chess. Now do you think in the chess game that they're going to play, do you think they will to be fair? Do you have hope that they will credit that money? But the PS, and the PS is also aware of the financial situation. Do you hope for that's in your name?
On top of that, Chairman, June. And
yes.
June. And Banana Kwabali ready or no, the festival going to take place. And Aleka hella lesa idire because of financial constraints. The labor disappointed. I'm in receipt of 2 letters. It's now given to associations, which is a very good move, I think. But I have 2 letters. Babaring, tender, and me a cancel. So are you going to start again? And by back or before December? I will say festival anything. I think not careful or yes indeed it's on nothing. Time is not on your side.
In July. Festival.
Not this year.
If I may respond, Chair.
Yes, sir.
July, the grand finale of it, where we finish up the national competitions, the awards for the national champions.
That is June now. Space millions July
the truth is, Chair. Irra ka gore tota kore go tshwaga ga mele go gore kana ha the National Arts Council AC disperse di madi gone gore ba khone go rana ibile se tsentse ba le late gale because we acknowledge gore they are late tota mme ra go obvious gore ya July gone gore re wela ka July ga ka ke a wela ya khona gore re wela ka July ya ka ntse re itse wela ka July ka gore ga ra go simolla hela go di kgaolong kwa go tsena ka July ke ka moso erra so ke sone se nne ke ba gone gore le tshogo leo le kana le lone leo mme hela I think ha madi a dispersitswe tota go ka re thusa yanong honorable Moalusina sentsantsa a bua ka ra boeleng gore nka se ke gone go ya araba mme tsholo Motswana re tsholohelo ga e tlhabisi ditlhong so we are hoping gore at some point we will see a disbursement there for the National Arts Council of Botswana gore ba khone gore ba implement this program. If there are challenges, possibly there will be communications le the relevant ministry gore tota ke re direng jang gore me re fine tune at the end of the day still have a festival, maybe in a different format than what we intended, but still have a festival. Because the festival for us, the creatives, in a given year, because it's not just the performances, but it is the whole value chain that is involved in that activity called the National Festival, the National Arts Festival.
Mr. Mateus, nna le boammaaruri gore a ke re bone tota ke botsa potso ya ke re itse gore ke monana mme nna ba ntshwenya ka gone gore bone mo go bone National Arts Festival e ra go le gontsi ke bile ke a bona gore e ra gape le letseno yaanong ga o wele sentle gore wa re a e tla nna teng kgotsa ga e ke a nna teng ke batla o papamale, come clean and clear.
We have asked the National Arts Council of Botswana, as an entity on its own by law, responsible officers. We have asked them, are you going to run the National Arts Festival? And they have confirmed, yes, the National Arts Festival will be on this year. It may not be as according to the expected time, but they have promised, they have said, yes, it will be.
I have my doubts, but anyway, I remember Now TV. Hona le banana ba le bantsi ba ba reng ba sa leke ba tsenya content teng go ba bida or content ya bone tsengwe ko Now TV. But it has been 2 years now. A ke tsora ke kgayo ka ya rabelang go tsa ke ba bangwe.
Erra ke intse le bagane le rona. Erra nne go kile ga nna le di challenges tse di hitileng mme hela tota se nka se solehetsang right now ke gone gore tender ya ka re bua jalo e mo cooling off period.
Cooling off period.
Erra e mo cooling off period.
Kana o tswa mo go twi mo dira hala
cooling off period ke
go hola eng go.
Ra ya be ha ka go sono no e le gore go wa awadiwa di bidara ba ba winneng go supply content for the Now streaming channel. In na gone gore yaanong go nna le that period ya gone gore ba ileng gore ba tla go khwira ba neng le di among the bidders ba khwira or all that they ba ka ha malaong ba hiwa yone nako eo gone gore ba
ra go wa dilo ya no ke cooling off.
Ke cooling off period se
gore ba wa dileng ba itse gore ya no rona ra wa dilo ya no cooling off.
Yes sir.
Okay. Gore ne go tsere le bakanyana 2 years is a long time. Bidile and then boy ma 2 years. Ha mo wa dimile shelenyana ha le gore to gona go dira yone content eo. Wa bona go tsenya o mathateng. Ke ra ga o le modiragati.
That is correct.
Wa bona gore ya no inconvenience ya te e nna kana ka mo bananeng. Bone ba re bata go support again.
That is correct chair.
Ne ke ka botsa ka kgang ya National Arts Council gore yone mme a e functional mo tshwaetseng a ne go di districting representiwa ke mang ha re ro ka ya rabota ya raba mme ne ke batla go eletsa ka ya 450,000 young people baba they are swimming in hopelessness no real 450,000 young people are swimming in hopelessness. PS ore yone kana tota gore tota sore ke a gago ke ra re melo ena o ka ya khela ke a rona rote ya ka no bua mme gape ke ya go mo ibile ke a rona ba busi ma politiki ya la ja gore ha itso gore ditiro tsa banana di tsamaelana le itshulelo e popoma go le kae ha itshulelo e sa popomi e le go tsa ya ka re bona yone e tshwanne ya wa itu 450,000 yo o go ketsega while the youth swimming in hopelessness. Our one semos trajectory tsa wanki isolelo ya rona e supa gore gona le go dira ditiro ite go kgwa ditiro. A ke tsoro ka kgela gore mo ga ya teng o ka re nya mme nna ka ke bona ka teng I'm optimistic about the future or you're pessimistic or you don't know. Just trying to source your view. A re libile semo sa isolelo ya rona ka etsa manga because ha bo sena ha itsholo le sa tsamesent ha gona ditiro tse di ka nnang teng go la re ka rata ha e ke tsa nna teng itsolelo ke ne dirang ditiro ha e sa tsamesent ra ra gona ditiro mme wa bona re tabo o kametse ministry wa youth mme go sena ditiro tse di ka create because itsolelo e go tatse ma ke hele gone ho if you want to answer that one ya National Arts Council or recover any district e dirisa bo mango district o ka ya raba le yone ya banana ya swimming in hopelessness. Lo no ka yara. What we did.
Ya leboga, Chair. We the thinking behind the National Arts Council ke gore re ska ra create an organization e hela e ka ra no re create another ministry where we have this huge structure. In other countries, their national arts councils di ke batho ba le palo e potlana e rileng e be le gore generally they work with associations to implement programming around the country. So ya no nyana ke ra re ga ke bue e le conclusion mme gone gore gona le right now we are working go kopa approval go review the act ya teng e leng gore I think part of it will even enable us gone gore re bone gore structure properly so that we don't have this huge organization that requires offices in every district.
Banana ba bona mango districting ha ba batla go bua ka dikgang tsa di arts possibly ha ngwa ha di association tsa bone di week ba bona ba ya go office ya youth o tsa ba ka
Erla o botsa sente Chair re simolletse go leba gore tota kana e swantse nna ready as government o as ha ka re create dilo jang re ne re itse gore re batho ba le bang so ya rona re le ministry ya ka ha re na di office mo di kgaolong jang go matshwanedi gone gore e be le gore bana ba kgona gore ba access dio dingwe tse leng gore NACB ba di dira e be le gore ba kgona gore ba di access mo go di officing tsa rona mo di districting gona le gore NACB e be wa nna le duplicate structure se leng gore le ministry le yone ka gona le duplicate bona le structure se sengwe so ka moakanya ke yone o gone gore a se ka re ikakanya mongwe le mongwe a eme ka sengwe a re tshwaragane re bone gore re thusana ka tsele ntseng jang
ene moakanya PS.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm an optimist. It's holelo ga e dire sentle. And this, on its own, Sare Huetla, to do something different. Handela ha ke bua ke rile, even under the big office ya ga Tautona, there is sharp focus. We can't continue like this. That office is taking a lead. Hand in glove. Or we need to empower our young people. We need to get them engaged. We need to get them earning a living. From the 10 to the 12, we have a planning workshop. Certain sectors have been prioritized. Or how do we unlock the potential to create jobs for youth? Honali, effort is dintsi tota tse leng gore gantele ke buile ka bema ba le ka go tsisa investors ha and mogopolo wa rona ke gore whatever is being established here, preference should be young people. So tota go tlhoka hope ke monka re sule ga re go inela re tle go ira ditiro one makhakha should spring us into action.
Mo ga khele mo go yona la ke re kana re ska ra lebala gore the mention of the word presidency is not a panacea as a solution. Re itse gore go la gona le manane wa ga Tauto so re ska ra ithare re a go ti Tautona gora gore do di ta diragala because we have a history of manane wa ga Tautona ana ile gore ga gona sepe se re ka se supa gore le nang la ga Tautona ke le soletse bo molemo. But I appreciate the effort that you are trying to put, and I want you to involve all stakeholders that you can think of. That's why I point out go the ministry they are churning kids out there. Whatever you do should not be in isolation. The client go junior school. Like if you talk to teachers, it's a huge problem because now they have kids who are bullying others, who are doing drugs, and they can't do anything because Babu millionaire minister. You should also have been involved in coming up with that policy. what can we do now to discipline our kids? Because other parents, discipline, but other parents are and a go sena motsadi le ko sekoleng go sena botsadi ba sa letelo gore ba ka betsa bana ke di-policy e leng gore eventually you are going, now your clients are going to be in prison. Ne ke bua le mongwe tishara ko GSS antare just this past week there was kids were gangs were fighting bana ba ko tlokeng ba lwa le ko ordinary lady and teachers can't do anything. So ke di tse leng gore di a go le direla mathata ga di a go re direla mathata because I'm also concerned on that issue.
Erika.
Let's go to the memorandum of progress.
But Chairperson, maybe I need to indicate that we submitted a corrigendum giving updates and corrections just so that we can make reference to it. I thank you.
Do you have the corrigendum?
No.
I think what is corrigendum? Will you submit it or what?
Halina extra copy who Grace copy of corrigendum. Chairperson.
Can we continue on this? Because Koskia Auditor General's report there. Let's go to the memorandum of progress. Page 2, part 1. Are we all there? This one had the dealt with the Auditor General's report. You didn't indicate the page.
Senka. A yone ya ga Shadi, page 2. Kora motho a misappropriately funds in this manner, whereby
Sorry, it's dealt with under page 61.
Yes.
Busako 61. Yes. So let's just say already dealt with. Let's go to page 3. We memo the first table and memo the second table. Page 4. Those two, are they within the cutoff date? Accountant General.
Page 4, we close the
We closed
both.
both. Page 5, they're all dealt with. Page 6, they're all dealt with. 7, all dealt with. 8, dealt with. 9, dealt with. So we're done. Let's go to the Auditor General's report. Page 2, we memo number 2, we close the others. Statement 2, sir, revenue, vulnerable.
Wait. Let's start.
We memo number 2. We close the others. Revenue results, letlankemisa vulnerable. It's monitor page 3.
Me number 2. Ke a leng a sore ya prescribe kana auto prescribe. Still investigating. Number 2 on page 2.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. The case for Tswiri Elliot, it's a non-moving imprest. But we are just made aware of it in April because these are the cases that we get from the Office of Accountant General. So we are still working on it, but we are so far been able to locate the officer. Already this transpired Gogumar, but now we are still going to the accounts for what could have happened, sir.
Young Mahoy. It happened which year?
Unfortunately, I don't have the year as to when it transpired. But these are for the financial year ended March 2022.
Ma?
Okay. So we continue.
Yeah, definitely.
It's revenue results. Letlankemisa vulnerable if you have any questions. We monitor page 3, monitor 4.
Cost recovery of funds for BNYC grounds. The bookings were not honored. What happens when a person books a ground? How honorable because if you answer and all the source because they're blocking other people from interacting with that.
We can move.
Okay.
I think you have noted it.
Page 4, we monitor. 5, we monitor. 6, we monitor. 7, that's where the development fund starts. So, the tlankemi sabo honorable. We monitor page 7.
Thank you, ma'am. The development table, statement number 6, is the one which is in the corrigendum from page 1.
It has
Corrigendum from page 1 up to
Okay.
page 1 up to page 4. There's some corrections there.
Let's hear a lot.
Page 1 up to page 4.
Yeah.
So we monitor page 1, monitor page 2.
On page 2, community sports stadia. Moshopa ehedile Bubirwa is ongoing 99%. When was the target date already ehedile and sample salitzing? Do we have a budget for more salitzing? 34.2 stadium is 99%, 34.2 going. What is happening?
federal and director.
The football pitch, ke yone e tshwantseng go helelediwa se.
A kere anong se se diragalang ka mabala ha o nna 3 years o sa dirisiwe mo ne go dirile go le gone go a senyega.
Yes,
Wa lemoga selo se?
go ntse jalo se.
Ee, ke ra gore that's where we are right now. Gone go bonong yaanong mo ne go dirilwe go a senyega gape go medile yaanong go meswa go leswe mo teng mole. Ke ra gore director etela mabala. Re ka tswelela ke ehe e yona ga kolola yala gore ga hetse wa araba yaanong for purposes ya maranyane kore o nne hatshe se ka araba. Yeah, thank you, that's fine.
Page 2, we monitor. 3, we monitor. 4, we monitor. Then we go back there. Huh?
Now we go back to the Auditor General's report.
What page, man? Project reality, okay. Okay. So page 16, Kyo. 11.
Emma.
Okay. Statement of deposit account. We close the first one, monitor the rest. Page 12. We close the last one. The rest we monitor. 13. We close. 14 monitor.
So 13 we monitor the first one.
Huh?
The first one, the annexure shows a payment of 28,000. I mean number 7.
Oh,
Page
okay.
13,
Yes.
the first
Okay.
one.
Okay.
It's a monitor because when they are saying the payment is 44,000, but the annex actually shows that the payment is 28,000. Hence, there is a balance of 15,000. So it has not cleared as is being indicated.
Excuse me. There are two payments, one for 28,000 and the other one for 15,000. Your number 7 in a lady payment it's a page said release you train. 28,000 plus, 15,000 plus.
15,000 attachment that day. Do you have it?
But the annexure is only for 28.
If you have it, we'll cover one, sir. That's right. Okay. Then 14 we monitor. 15 monitor. 16 monitor the top table, monitor the middle table. 17 monitor. 18 monitor. 19 monitor.
Excuse me.
Sorry?
Excuse me. From page 19, there's a corrigendum from page 6.
Income tax.
Page
6 to what?
From page 6 up to 36. No, not 36. It's from page 6 up to page 33.
Accountant General Letlankemi, we monitor page 6. Page 7. For agenda on page 6. Leave like it. Accountant General Letlankemi. Did I not say close?
And not close 7 as well.
5 is closed. Okay, page 7, 6 is closed, 7 is closed, 8 is closed. Okay, page 8, we monitor 10. 9, monitor.
9 we close.
Close which one? Close which one?
9.
Page 9.
No, page 8, number 9.
Page 8.
The first one.
A.
49 pull.
Close 9 and the 11 and...
Yes.
9 has a cut-off date, May 2022.
Okay. So let's go to page 9. We monitor all of them. Page...
Excuse me, madam. The number 9 offset was processed in May 2022. That was within the year.
Sorry?
It was within the year.
I said close.
Oh, thank you.
Number 9.
Yeah.
But then, what about 7 and 8? Or close?
I think we close.
7 and 8 are closed. Okay, let's go to page 10. We close 18 and 19. Page 11, we close 20 only. Page 12, we close 27. 13, we close 28. And 30. But this thing still needs to be adjusted, so there's some tables.
No, we don't close 28.
25 table. We close, they will adjust.
Color date? I'll take my tab.
The table really ready, so all of them. 14, we close. 15, we close. 16, we close. 17, we close. 18, we monitor 86. We close 19, close 20. We monitor 103 and 104 and 109. We monitor 110 and 111. We close 23. Then 24, we close 129, 130, 130. We monitored 129, 130, 131, 132. 25, we monitor 134, 139, 140. Whatever still needs to be adjusted though. Again, whatever, they still need to be adjusted. 26.
And 25, 136, 136. We don't have evidence for 136, 37, and 38. There's no evidence to show. We need that evidence.
I will provide evidence for those.
26, we monitor. 27, we monitor. 28, we monitor. 29, we close 153 and 156 and 157. 30, we monitor 158, 159 and 160. 166 and 169. 31.
Sorry, 30, there are a lot of them that don't have evidence still.
Sorry?
There are a lot of, from 161, 161, 2, 3.
The monitor, they are
You
closed.
said we monitor 158.
8, 159, 160, and 166, and 169.
Yes.
31, we monitor 179, 180, 181, 182.
That's that you said we are not monitoring. They don't have evidence. There's quite a number that don't have evidence. You see, from 168 down to 171, there's no evidence. So we monitor.
We'll provide evidence.
32, do they have evidences on? 184, we monitor. And 192 we monitor,
32,
196
32,
and
no
what?
evidence, the whole page.
Evidence.
Mm.
There's no evidence modules in it.
Indeed, there are quite a number without evidence.
33. We monitor 200 and 203 and 207. The rest we closed. Are they okay?
Then there's still the first two, no evidence. 204, 5, 6, 7, up 205 to 7, no evidence still.
No evidence.
This evidence we can submit the thing. So it's what them paid. I think we'll submit it tomorrow.
Are we still on the core agenda? Then we go to page
50.
Page what?
Page 50 of the report.
Page 50.
Can I not only lead issues at the balance asa. Accountant general to check the balances and I'm ask because no, do you think these balances? I just wanted to ask. You check that.
I think we have to confirm.
Page 50. They're all memos. No memo, no movement, Attorney General. Most of these things are they're with you.
We advised that it be closed. It had prescribed
And where's Cecily?
that in 2023.
And then the thing is, how Attorney General also talk logo kadiro sepe. 2023. It's within threshold ya PS. There's no point in still since le salamora is there.
In my question, oversight for authorization.
Not about the rest, but anyway, their own memos.
Pile Mokosi, the initial debt was 2,000. Una duela 100 pula. By Emma, we are now at 1.4 as the balance. We have to similar hard.
Yeah, happiness when you say. Okay. Go to page 51.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Pilo.
Oh,
How 50
excuse
Oh, okay. Okay, error.
The
Sorry.
initial debt Pilo was 8,142. So it's 8,200. We have since written to the ministry, should we go for interest? But that may not do it the principal debt.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Page 51. Harabwana Muasa page 570. Honali advances interest recoveries. Is the report 58174. Asa page 570. There's advances, interest recoveries, 58,174 is a report to. And then I've written a statement 22 where we are 15.
Page 51, number one, loss of cash, number one, we verified that we close. Page 51, number one.
Which I include as a page
Oh,
570. Page, as a page 570.
570.
I see. And the interest recoveries.
This one.
58,000.
No. Elliot, is it still Elliot in Simap?
That's a page 570.
When
Loss of cash. So
The amount again?
58,174.
58,174. Oh.
And then I could sort of return a statement 22 where we are 15. Is any loss of cash, is it within the
Excuse me, madam.
Is it within the cut-off date, ma'am? Elliot.
within is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's March 2023.
Huh?
Which one are you referring?
Yeah, Elliot, the number one. Yeah, loss of
is
cash.
within the cut-off date.
It's fine.
Yes.
You can close it.
Yeah, we close it.
Yeah, stand back. Hana guy wanna more asa. It's okay. You're more asking. Alabon.
It has been adjusted.
It's unotilak. Someone ta. Yan ko ro wetse o tsene mo statement 22 wa wela gape go 15 gape. Page 52. We close the top table. Then we close the first one and memo the second one on in the lower table. Then we close 53, memo 54. Como que se chama? Kana o tla tsena mo 22 o wela ko. Re mo 22. 22 we monitor. Page 55.
Excuse me, ma'am. Page 54. Immediately Mpulo. What payment? The payment there 8.2. But even though it was after the cut-off date.
Page 50, ma'am?
54. The first one. One loss of camera. Audit in the 8.2.
More 1 point. Which one is that?
Page 54.
Oh, yeah. No really.
Audit, but after the cut-off date. So the 8.2 and Adwell in the total amount he paid 8,200. Composition, I think the 1.2 and 6. Overpayment of salaries. Go page 50. The 6.947. He paid that after the cut-off date anyway.
But it's a monitor anyway. Page 55. It's a monitor, the top page.
55, we have verified the first one was adjusted in 2023, not 2024.
So we close it.
Yes.
Then the lower one is monitor. It's not closed. I see.
The first one?
It's not closed because it was after.
First one.
No, it was within the cutoff. That's what they're
It's
saying.
within the cutoff date. It was adjusted in 2023, not 2024 as they have indicated here. Yes.
Okay, 56, we monitor. 57, they're all after cut-off date, are they not? Are they within the cut-off date?
Yes, all of them.
All
are
of them
after
closed.
cut-off date.
Excuse me, madam. Sir,
Is it possible to get clarity, or we should admit it's a bit late? On page 56.
Okay.
Omar, number 3. Attorney General.
page 56, the more corrigendum from page 34 to page 36. Corrigendum from page 34 to page 36. They're the same cases.
Yeah, Honorableness, you still wanted to ask how page 35 here. Corrigendum.
On page 35, a summons was filed in December 2024. Follow-ups were made. What is the status now?
Yeah, Martha has not replied. We will be going for what we call a default. A default judgment against him because he didn't file any court process.
To Chair, there are a number of cases in where they charge to public funds due to lack of promptness in conducting disciplinary hearing. What's the plan going forward? Because we cannot be losing money like this. Hara institute a disciplinary hearing kanako.
Yes.
Thank you, Chairperson. I can indicate that we have started monitoring cases closely. We've set up committees to make sure that nothing falls between the cracks. So going forward, we do not expect to see such caliber.
Thank you very much.
Okay. In that case, 35, we close 4, 5, 6 and the lower table. 36, we monitor. Then we go back to the report, page 58. That's the warranted provision. The expenditure, so litlampulela 58 we monitor, 59 we monitor, 60 we monitor, 61 we memo.
But yone ya 61 ye go diragala e wa kolota o duetse wa refundiwa. What is happening?
Okay, I think a mistake happened after the money was deducted from this person. When it went for a criminal trial, the lawyer somehow dribbled them. He said this money was deducted because the prosecution had promised that if he pays, they won't go further with the prosecution, which was not true at all. This money was not supposed to be reversed because it was properly taken through administrative action. But as we speak now, the criminal trial is ongoing. 6 witnesses have been called, and the trial is continuing in November the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But the prosecutor tells me that they are coming up with delaying tactics every time. It's either he files a sick note or his lawyer doesn't appear at all. But the magistrate has ordered that the next time they don't appear, they should expect that we might proceed without them. It's one of those, because I doubt if he has a defense.
In a case like this, Chairman, because it appears ministries or government are losing most of these cases, who represents government here? Who represents the ministry?
It's at a criminal trial. It means the DPP with his or her prosecutors. Now,
what I mean is, a government who represents a lawyer. I'm police who prosecute.
DPP is a government agency.
I think in that straight, big brother, a government who represents a lawyer in this particular case.
Is prosecuting the case. He is representing the state.
It's a criminal case. It's a criminal case.
Now, lawyers from government.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
And then the rental overpayment, Auditor General, are you happy?
Right, it's okay. Thank you.
Huh?
No correction.
In that case,
Wait. On that one, something of interest. Is it possible that you can go out there, rent out a place from a landlord, the place is not VAT registered?
The place is not?
Are you able to rent out a property where the landlord is not VAT registered, like it says in this case? Or you are not making payment, or you made payment and you thought Nelly duela moto or register you are for VAT?
Is there a response from?
I can just indicate that there is a threshold you are required to register for VAT. Ke bokae? Ke 1 million. So how sa register for VAT? How
Are you saying your ministry can rent out property from a landlord not also registering for VAT?
Ramacho, do you understand the question?
Looks like it happened.
I think we tlhalosa ka ke tlhalosa gore kana VAT registration in a threshold. So if we go and rent a small property, e motho a teng a iseng a reach that threshold.
But PS, why can't you just give a straightforward answer? Six about Angkor, Agora, le khona go renta a place. Don't give the threshold. Awa khona gore le rent a property. E le gore ga ya register or the landlord ga register for VAT for that property.
It depends on the amount of space you need, the
So,
rental charge.
So
I think so.
I think the question should be why pay VAT? I can rent including VAT. Is this registered? Maybe you should have found out what moto is VAT registered. Or our VAT registered.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our engagement today. Okay, cool. Leboga thata honorable members ke leboga thata gore le tsa tiro ya lona ka thwagana re la go le bosigo yana le ntse le supa thwagalo hela e ko godimo thata re re leboge le bone ba Ministry of Youth and Gender le re itshoketse tota malo wa re le busitse tsatsi eno re le ntsha bosigo re lebogela boitshoko jo bo kao the 3 AGs, technical advisors. Thank you very much. The only thing that we can give you at this time of the day, regardless of what it's na hago joan ting kana ke itse ba sa jimbu sigo tata ba re hala go 7 a cha ba jimi gona le metsinyana a go jolan ting ha parliamenting ka tara sala morago ba le sa go itse re le bogile thata ma John ke dumela gore di buka tsa ngwa go re ta bore kopana gape di tabo di le in perfect shape di sena corrigenda mo tse dintsi corrigenda mo ya timetsa nna ne ke tsama ke timela a kere chief accountant
Yes, sir.
re tsa gore di tabo di siamela thata me e ka mako a kalo batho betso a re gone re bona metsi yana re tere patalale a parlamenta re kopaneng phakela ka 8 okay